What is up?
What is up, Watch fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop. Are you kidding me?
Boom, Watch fam.
And my name is Michael. I am not the curator of Theo.
I have nothing of my own anymore. you have.
The best part is
it's been a coup. Everyone wants you and Anna and Rolly, and they want Christian ousted. And you know what? That's fine.
The best part is, look at me right now. I'm sweaty. I'm way paler than you. I'm a mess. My head's bigger than yours. Yeah. You look good. On these videos, I look like I'm 3 seconds away from just face planting on the table.
Great. Today, we're doing another live. We do these lives now. Everyone loves them. It's awesome. I have a lot of fun doing this. Thank you for being a friend.
You're welcome.
Grand Seiko's micro artist program, which I think will be our first subject.
Yes, sir.
Which you know more about than I do.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Everyone liked when you made fun of me for not knowing yellow last year. That was very funny.
It was funny.
I'm the butt of everyone's joke. Yeah. And then Rolling Blazers and Seiko. Which I think is another cool thing. If you guys like Seiko, stay tuned.
This is basically very Seiko-centric.
Doesn't do a lot for me.
It doesn't pay the bills for you, so it's not a big thing.
I think I've got like a Seiko that I took it on trade like a year ago.
Oh, you put that in the corner of your door when you don't want it to close, right?
Yeah, I hang it on inside the door like a mezuzah. Yeah. It's a watch mezuzah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a very like New York, New Jersey.
I didn't even get it.
You know what's funny is obviously growing up as I did in the metropolitan area, I didn't know that the rest of the country wasn't, no matter what your religion or race, very familiar with Jewish tradition.
You had no idea.
I know a lot. So anyway, what are you doing for Hanukkah?
Sweating, apparently.
Sweating.
Okay, so remember when we went to the watch event and Joe from Grand Seiko,
yes, of course,
was talking about the micro artist program, which is really just the best of the best, the most elite Grand Seiko piece with the best masterful craftsman or whatever. This is the newest iteration of that. This is an $80,000 watch, and there are two things that kind of come to focus. The first thing that you see, one, the engraving on the side, all hand engraved, and then two, the stars on the dial. So what do you think about that? And it's spring drive.
I think it's unbelievable. I mean, it's certainly bold. The case engraving is not something that I see case engraving a lot on like Instagram. People do like aftermarket case engraving and stuff that I don't particularly like. I think that oftentimes the aftermarket case engraving is very I don't know. I feel like it's very aggressive and it clashes with the design. I see a heavily engraved Milgauss, and I appreciate the difficulty of the engraving, but on the watch it clashes. This is perfect. I mean, this lends itself perfectly. This is gorgeous. Not to mention, look at the subtlety of the engraving.
Oh yeah, you can see every. What always gets me, like you said, that Milgauss is what you'll typically see is very, very intense and large engraving.
And both black.
With blackened designs. And that, I'm kind of like, I just don't like that. This is so subtle that I kind of see it reflecting like a snowflake dial, for example. Wow,
this is gorgeous.
And then what's really cool, this movement, guess how long the power reserve is?
Tell me.
86 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, 30% Grand Seiko says, actually right up there.
Yeah, look at the barrel. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's a tank. Grand Seiko says typically 30% of energy is like lost when it's ticking.
Wow.
They kind of fixed that, so now they have 86.
Now this is gorgeous, man.
And it's $79,000, but I rounded up to 80.
I think that it's really intelligent, and I compare this to like Tesla a lot. And I don't know a lot about Tesla, but I do know. I've heard like people talk about like their to market strategy, and how like they started off with that like super like sports car, it was designed by like Lotus or something like that.
Yeah.
And the whole idea was like kind of like directly and immediately addressing the common criticism that electric can't be powerful, right?
Yep.
And it seems to, and then we'll go with the rest of our mass market stuff from there. We'll do the Model S, we'll do the Model T. Is there a Model T in Tesla, or was that Ford?
That would be Ford.
That's Ford.
It's the first Ford, actually. It's very close, though.
Very close. But here it's very similar, right?
Yep.
It's Grand Seiko. Obviously, this watch to them financially probably isn't all that important. Their business is much larger in the more affordable, sub $10,000 range, probably sub $15,000 range. But by producing this, the Grand Seiko is showing the world really what this brand stands for at its most extreme level, what they're capable of. The far reaches watches of their philosophy.
Yeah.
That is amazing to me.
Grand Seiko reminds me of a company that always says, like, okay, here are our watches. These are great. These are affordable. Look what we can do on these affordable watches. This is our thing.
Yeah. No, I love this watch. I mean, my opinion, my passion for Grand Seiko is no secret at this point. And it's funny because there's always one. We just released a collaboration with Grand Seiko last week. You really ought to watch the video, the commercial, the film, whatever you want to call it. It was really, really beautiful. You did an amazing job, dude.
So do you.
Seriously, thank you. 2 years ago, I released a video. I think Anna was in it at the time. I think she was in it. It wasn't just me.
Which one?
Grand Seiko Sucks.
Oh, yeah. Grand Seiko Sucks. Seiko Sucks. Changed my mind.
Yeah, and so I released that video years ago, and now we work with Grand Seiko, and we do some amazing stuff with Grand Seiko, and, there's always one wise YouTube follower that is not even well thought out. Their opinion isn't even well conceived, because they say, "Oh yeah, you said that Seiko sucks," and now all of a sudden they're paying you to say otherwise. And he's a schmuck.
Yeah.
That one person. Every once in a while you get one, but this person is a schmuck because if you watch that video, which I don't even recommend you watch because I don't even know, it probably wasn't even good.
That came out when I was my old job, and I saw the title, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah!" It was a clickbait.
It was a clickbait title, yeah.
And there was a point, and I stand by that point. My point basically was, and I still feel this: if your products are incredible, there is no excuse for your marketing to be bad. Right. Marketing is bad when the product is bad. The marketing team has something to work with. But if you're giving the marketing team all of this raw material to work with and
incredible
to tell stories
value,
exactly,
yep,
all this beautiful culture and craftsmanship and all stuff, and they can't tell a good message, that sucks. So the point that I was making is the fact that Grand Seiko doesn't resonate with me like a lot of people, most people in the country. The fact that they say, it's a Seiko is not a testament to the watches. It's a testament to the failure on the commercial end.
Yeah.
And that bothers me on a personal level. That's what I do for a living. I love that stuff. That stuff excites me. I'm not a watchmaker. I appreciate watchmakers, but my thing is on the commercial end.
I always thought, like, when I was really into Seiko Sarbs and all that, I was like, it's crazy that these are like gold tier affordable watches, but the pictures of them look horrible. The Seiko advertised pictures of them wouldn't sell anybody on the watch.
Yeah.
When all you really needed to do was iPhone and holding it, and you're like, that's a great watch.
Exactly. So that was my problem with them then, and the reason that I've changed my opinion, since I made that video, there are a couple of reasons. And this is not even touching the fact that they've released more watches that I've liked. Not even touching that, but they've put a lot more work into building American commercial market. They've released the Four Seasons, which was like I think that was a turning point in their kind of like
huge. Snowflake, everything
all
like
that
that. Mount
stuff.
Iwate.
They were releasing these watches specifically for the American market that was saying, "Hey, we're here to stay, we're here to build."
Yeah.
And they did an incredible job, and they started working, I guess with other people too, but really started working with us.
Yeah.
And I may be so bold, I think that we've created the best Grand Seiko content, from a partnership level that anyone has, and I think that it makes people look at it more seriously. I really do. I mean, of course, I feel that way. I mean, and I'll go politely. I mean, this is not like a rude thing, but I'll go head to head with any content creator on it. I think that we've done an amazing job, telling their story in a real way.
Yeah.
From the Nakazawa film, which was the first film that you worked on with us, that was you, me, and Anna, and that was amazing. And up to our most recent, we've done, I think, 4 pieces with them now. Yep. And I'm so proud to be associated with them. I really am. I really am.
And we're interlacing Grand Seiko and Seiko here, but that's just because a lot of our principles are the same.
They're completely they're very different companies. But I think the point at the time was that without good marketing,
right,
there is no difference, or not there is no difference, but no one recognizes the difference.
Exactly.
Without good storytelling, everyone's like, it's Seiko. I'm like, no, it's a Grand Seiko. It's totally different.
Yeah.
And for these 3 reasons, they're like, it's a Seiko, isn't it?
Yep.
It's Seiko with a fancy name, and I'm like, no, it's really not. In fact, the 2 companies are like, they have almost nothing in common, and the things that they do have in common, Seiko stole from Grand Seiko. Please no, and they're like,
that's a Seiko. I know a Seiko when I see one.
So that bothered me.
Yeah.
But okay, so moving on from Micro Artist Program, which is absolutely beautiful. If you got $80,000, if you have $80,000 to blow on a Grand Seiko or to spend it on a Grand Seiko, I bet you can't get this watch because I bet it's already sold.
There's 50 of them.
Yeah, I bet they're already sold. I bet they're already committed. Next, Seiko and rowing blazers. Tell me what's going on.
Okay, cool. Real quick, in case you don't know, there's that. Well, you do know the SKX, the classic watch.
I really don't.
Well, okay. I mean, classic watch, SKX. Everybody's like, "This is my favorite dive watch." Seiko discontinued that, both the large model and the small model. They did for the Seiko 5. And my understanding is, which this is just kind of what I've been thinking, is they basically said, "Listen, like our SKX is so popular in the watch enthusiast market, we can take that design." Lessen it a little bit, but do it in all these different colors. So now they have like a street version, a dress version, of this version, of that version. But they changed things around and put it under the Seiko 5 name, which is their classic. A Seiko watch should be able to do these 5 things: water resistance, this, that, this, that.
Gotcha.
But they did cut the water resistance from 200 meters to 100 meters.
Okay.
So it's not that beastly dive watch anymore,
Right.
but it is a lot more marketable. Cutting to rowing blazers, which I will let you take the floor on rowing blazers, but that's where we're at with Seiko now. And now they're doing all these really cool collaborations where these actually are watches I really like. I think these look great.
Yeah, so I wouldn't, I mean, if I'm going to wear a Seiko 5 or a Seiko period, I would be most likely to wear these watches. These are cool. These are fun. It's fun. Rolling Blazers did a good job.
$500.
They're fun. I like all of them. That's really cool.
I love that. If you scroll down, there's on the wrist pictures too.
They're all really cool. I still wouldn't wear one of these watches.
This is also 42.5 millimeters. Yeah, I think that's a mess up.
Even if it's 38, I couldn't wear it. It's just not my style.
Yeah.
I always liked their stuff. I like their designs. It was kind of cool. You know, it's like preppy. It's kind of like it's kind of retro. Not kind of retro. It's decidedly retro.
It's bold.
It's bold. I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I actually reached out to Rowing Blazers like 2 years ago, I think, and said, because they were doing a partnership with Eric Wynn to sell watches, and I didn't want to sell their watches. I didn't want to sell my watches, whatever. I just wanted to. It's a true story. I can actually find the emails probably. I wanted to do what actually we just did.
Oh, really?
Which was take their clothing and integrate it into some videos.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to charge them. It was no bill. It was nothing like that. I was just like, hey, if you guys can get your company to agree to this, like, I'll do it. It'd be great. It'd be really cool. I think at the time I was like, throw me a discount and I'll buy more.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, the most fair offer you could possibly imagine. Right. And they didn't do it. I frankly don't even think it ever got to a decision maker. I think it was just like kind of a meek offer, and I probably offered it in a very, beta way, and like, hey, if you guys want,
if I can get a free shirt,
maybe not a free, if I can get a discounted shirt or 5 discounted shirts, I'll make a video. Now I'd be like, listen, enough bullshit.
I'll be rowing blazers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I don't want to role play. I'm gonna get turned on.
Sick of role play.
I think that there's something so beautiful about tasteful boldness. I think it really makes you feel. It makes you feel like you're in the comfort of your home, like you're kind of wearing whatever you want. And I remember being in middle school and not or being a kid or being even a young adult, I'm sure, and not being able to wear whatever you wanted.
Yeah, right.
Because it's awkward.
Yeah.
So I think there's something beautiful about that. So anyway, Rolling Blazers, if you ever want to work together, we can work together. That'd be great. If not, I guess I'll just keep buying your shit at retail. I mean, I guess they're like, okay, so keep buying your shit.
That's awesome.
So whatever. I guess that's how deals are made. Next week you're gonna see sponsored by Rolling Blazers, and I'm like, mother.
Great, I'd be proud.
It'd be a good partnership.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to whatever.
Back to business.
Would you guys buy a Rolling Blazers Seiko 5?
Yeah. Would you get the Seiko? More importantly, like the change from the SKX to the Seiko 5. Do you still want the Seiko 5, or now you're getting like aftermarket $800 SKXs? That's the question.
Answer that down below.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then Michael's going to ride me about it forever.
I'm going to be like, Kristen, they didn't answer it? I don't know why. Oh, what's with the flowers on the head? Do you know?
Listen, I don't know.
Okay.
I assume that this is in America.
Yeah.
I relate in no way to the like, Ivy culture.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to look. I think it's cool to look like Ivy to a degree.
Yep.
But I think they look ridiculous.
Agreed. Okay. Cool.
I would steal all of their lunch money.
Yeah.
And someone's gonna say, "Oh yeah, motherfucker, try to steal my lunch money. Oh, give me a small wrist." Okay, you and me, pal. Get the fuck out of here. I'll bust your head open.
With a big piece of mozzarella, hit your head with a baseball bat.
No, it's always funny. It's
you be looking like a hot dog. I am wearing a Theo and Harris exclusive 16030 quick set Datejust.
Yeah,
yes,
beautiful.
sir. It is gorgeous, and my favorite dial, a Buckley.
And it's a gray Buckley.
A gray Buckley.
It's not just any Buckley.
Yep, with custard loom. from 1982.
Yeah, and most Buckley dials are in white, and even those are pretty difficult to find. Sometimes you see them in other colors, but really so rare. Finding one in gray is extremely rare. I love this watch. It's gorgeous.
And the case, totally unpolished or very lightly polished. It feels huge.
Unpolished, yeah.
It feels huge for a Datejust, which is how I usually can tell this has never been touched.
It's very thick.
Yeah.
I love that watch.
This is double C thick.
That watch with a Q. That watch is available in the Theo and Harris watch shop.
Yes, sir.
I'm wearing a Omega Seamaster. This is from 1956.
Whoa.
Very cool.
Yes, sir.
1950s Seamasters hold a very special place in my heart. My grandfather has a 1950s Seamaster.
It's the year you were born.
Yeah, the 19th year I was born. But post-war, you know.
Post-war, when things were easier.
Yeah. Anyway, the watch is absolutely beautiful. Same case as the one my grandfather has. Different dial. This one has some beautiful patina. The bracelet is not original, nor is it Omega, but it's gorgeous. I wish I kept it. The only reason I'm not keeping this bracelet is because you already took photos of this watch, and I don't want to have you retake photos.
Yep.
This is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous watch.
Yep.
The dial reminds me of like tiger print or something like that. Like it's beautiful.
It's very even.
I love it. I
agree.
adore this watch. I know that if you guys have ever bought from us or sold to me or whatever, you can definitely attest to the fact that I have a ton of fun doing this. I really love buying and selling. I love that you guys are on the shop. I love that you're gonna pull up a tab right now and go to the shop and buy watches and straps. Because if you don't buy watches and straps, I'm going to have to sell my G-Wagon.
Well, I also go first.
Yeah. Michael goes first.
G-Wagon.
Right. Well, it's you, then all my dependents.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
By Isabella.
Yep.
She's getting mad.
Modify the will.
That's my sister. She's lovely. Don't you ever call her dependent. Anyway, that's it.
Yes.
And that's what's going on in the watch world.
Yes. We will see you next week for part 2.
For part 2. Part 2.
Part 2.